What I don't say to my toddlers when they're hitting that could actually be making the hitting worse, and what's actually going to help your little ones if you're going through a phase where this is coming up for you a lot. Now, personally, I have 3 kids who are 5, 3, and 1. I also have taught literally thousands of students, moms who have little kids who are in the ages of like 1 to 5, how to handle tricky behaviors. Here's the things that I hear all the time that aren't actually going to help your toddler hit less. That's not nice. Not going to help. Gentle hands, gentle hands, gentle hands, right? Saying this over and over and over again. Saying things like, if you hit again, you're going to time out. Or things like, why would you do that? You're 3. You know better. You know not to hit your sister. Why would you do that? Okay? Let me explain why all of these aren't really going to be that effective for you. The thing you have to understand is that when your toddler is hitting, whether it's out of excitement, frustration, anger, they're literally just like hitting the baby because they don't know what else to do. It's not intentional in that moment because of the way toddlers' brains are developed. They're in a state of dysregulation where they have moved from their already very underdeveloped prefrontal cortex, which is like thinking, making critical, logical decisions, being rational, knowing the rules. Like they've moved out of that brain into their emotional brain, into their instinctual brain. Their instinctual brain is physical, right? This is why the second toddlers get frustrated, they chuck something across the room. The second that they're angry that you set a boundary, they're whacking at you, right? It's not because they're doing it on purpose. It's because their brain has moved into this dysregulated state. So saying things that make them feel shamed, blamed, reminding them of the rules over and over again, right? Like gentle hands, we don't hit, gentle hands. Like in the moment, that's not going to do anything because they're not using their thinking logical brain. They're dysregulated. It's actually going to help. In the moment, your response needs to be so calm, so unbothered, simply setting a boundary. I can't let you hit me, right? Or I can't let you hit brother. I'm going to block your hand now. Or I'm going to move you away. Setting the boundary, being so calm, and helping them regulate because like I said, they're in that state of dysregulation. That's all you need to say in the moment. The thing that's actually going to make a huge difference. You need to start teaching emotional regulation skills and other ways for your little one to handle their big feelings. So outside of that moment, outside of the triggering moments when you've said no, when you've set a boundary, when your toddler is frustrated, you need to be teaching them emotional regulation skills so that in that moment, when they're feeling those feelings, they have a better grasp. They've practiced how to handle their frustration, anger, sadness, disappointment, etc. Right? They know what else to do. That's why in my toddler tantrums guide, the first step of the framework is called prep, and it's all about teaching your little one the skills they actually need to not do the tricky behavior. Because if you can start to teach them impulse control, emotional regulation skills, how else to get their anger, frustration, sadness out besides hitting or like insert whatever behavior, then they can have those skills and it doesn't turn into hitting as often as they build up that muscle. But if you're only focused on in the moment, setting a boundary, making them feel bad, telling them, you know better, we don't do that, that's not nice, they're never learning the skills to actually stop the hitting in the first place, right? Like you're ignoring the root cause of the issue and you're only focusing on the surface level behavior. That's where the hitting or other tricky behaviors are going to literally continue happening until you finally go back and address the root cause and start teaching them the skills that they need. They'll stop. And not only did that work in my family, not only is it backed by Montessori, Rye parenting, child development research, but it has literally helped hundreds and hundreds of other parents with little kids minimize their tricky behaviors because they got to the root of it.